What's up, guys? Better late than never. Hour 15 minutes after schedule, we've got Callous Fight Nights. It is Endill versus Beware of Coco. That's Hellpowna. Let them know they can start. Oh, guess I can't do that because I'm ignoring spectators because I don't ever want to listen to anybody on ladder. Let me just fix that and go back to ignoring spectators again because they can all fuck themselves. Alright, here's the battle. T-Tar on T-Tar. Dangerous for both players. They do have the ability to brick break each other, CB earthquake each other, whatever it is. Endill, that is he goes by Vincent, he goes by number of names, but Endill is his official Smogon name. He made his SPL debut this year. Didn't have a great tour, and that's not me shitting on him. I also had a bad first SPL. I mean, it happens to everybody, but yeah, not his best showing. Maybe he'll get another shot in CI5 or in next year's SPL against Coco, who I think maybe played SPL a million years ago, but not any time recently. Has been, and any time that I've had him either in CALLOUS Invitational play-ins, in Fight Night, in one of these side tours, he's consistently a good player who beats very established players and usually plays a pretty tight game. He's solid, really and truly. The issue with Coco, more than anything else, Hellpowna, is just his scheduling. His schedule, his real life schedule, his job, it's a nightmare, and he's not good at converting time zones. He doesn't speak perfect English. It just all kind of leads to him being difficult to actually lock down a match with. But once you get him here, the dude's pretty good. And I think he's out in front yet again in the early stages of this game against Endill, who's a proper ADV main. Hellpowna plays a little bit of everything. I knew him for a long time as a DPP player. Now, I think his ADV is actually better than his DPP. I don't know that he would necessarily agree with that, but that's my opinion. And yeah, I mean, he's our defending champ here for a reason. Endill is the challenger. We've had a couple of hacks both ways, some crits and stuff in this battle. They have similar teams here, not identical. I mean, they actually only have the one Pokemon overlap, but it looks like they both have balanced teams. There's a Wish, which T-Tower will certainly take at 20%. It also doesn't have lefties, so a Crunch Tower without lefties is either going to be Lumberry, most likely, just bound and determined to trap Gengar at any cost, or it could be Black Glasses, which is an item I've experimented with a little bit. Ultimately, I think it's too niche. I think usually you just want lefties or Lum, but there are some scenarios where against like the bulkiest Gars in the world that you absolutely must kill, maybe Black Glass is a little bit better, but by and large, I think that is a second tier choice compared to the lefties or Lumberry option. Back and forth here. Neither one of these teams, neither one's a heavy offense, but certainly neither one is a proper stall either, it doesn't look like. Both offensive enough to where they can fling blows back and forth, and they've done exactly that. Stuff has taken some damage on both teams. Swampert down to 2/3, Celebi at about half here for Endill. Of course, the T-Tar still sitting at 20 after suffering that crit for Coco. And there's hidden power flying, 18% to Zapper, but I mean, hey, unless he's got a Wish somewhere in the back, or unless it's Rest Zap, that's all going to add up. Here's Rachi, and yeah, just a BP, so very, very unlikely to be a Rest Zap. Rest and BP is not a thing, so all the damage adds up, all the chip matters. Gets the option of what to do here into the Rachi. Rachi very healthy, so even if he does have a Dugtrio, he's going to want to think twice about doing that here. And I would also think that if he did have a Dug, it would be Zapdos leading because you want to have that option immediately. I don't think the T-Tar lead is as good if you do have a Dug in back, so I think that Endill probably does not have a Dugtrio. There's a Leech Seed and a Wish respectively. I don't think the Leech Seed really matters there. He's just going to switch anyway, so he can pass the Wish. And that's exactly what happens. And ironically there, because Endill didn't attack, he actually gave Coco the opportunity there to pass it to the T-Tar, which he didn't take. But it's interesting that he could have safely done that there. He would have eaten a little bit of Leech Seed damage, and then he would have received the Wish, and he would have been in a much better place. But worked out just fine. The Wish did get passed. Not to the tower, but it got passed. Gyra's back to pretty healthy here, and a Starmie shown. Now, that still can be an offensive threat. For example, right here, I mean, you can't stay in if you're Zapper. Surf may or may not be enough. Hydro Pump would be enough. Thunderbolt may or may not be enough. Ice Beam would be enough. Gonna pull it back, as does Endill, But yeah, just because there's no spikes so far, and it still could be too. Endill could easily have like a Scarm, Starmie, or I mean, I guess Scarm Doug, but again, I don't think he has Doug. But anyway, even if there aren't spikes, the point is the Starmie does still have purpose. It could be a wall, it could be an offensive threat, and I'm wrong anyway. Endill does have a Doug trio, so he's going to catch the T-Tar here, which, even after receiving Wish, fine and well, is going to be nowhere near healthy enough to survive an EQ. Down that goes, and Endill, our challenger, is going to take the first lead here. So it leaves us in a 6-5. There's unrevealed for both sides. It's been a pretty fast-paced game here. It's been pretty brisk, but it's going to be Coco for the first time taking use of his timer here and trying to figure out how to respond to this. The Gyarados seems like a pretty legit threat from Coco's team if he can get past the Zapdos, but I don't think it's too wild to do that at this point. Zapdos is down to what, 29%? Certainly it's very low and could just be chipped away at. I mean, basically one more hit from anything, and then the Gyarados after that could then just kill the Zapdos on its own. And Gyarados, with a couple boosts, can Earthquake its way through the tower. It looks to be a mixed tower that very well may not have Rock Slide, so it's not actually a threat to the Gyarados. Celebi certainly doesn't beat Gyarados. Dugtrio certainly doesn't beat Gyarados. Swampert, it gets a little tricky. Gyara should win that 1v1, but the Swampert, of course, has the benefit of gaining lefties through the sand, whereas Gyara doesn't. And Swampert can do things like roar him out or get him with an Ice Beam Freeze, stuff like that. But Gyara does usually win that matchup, and then of course there is the one unknown poke in the back for Endill, a Scarm, a Starmie. Those are the two most likely things in my mind, but it doesn't have to be one of those. Coco does go to the Gyara, and I'm wrong yet again. Man, sometimes I feel like I'm a mind reader in these live games. Other times I feel like a maroon, and this game is one of those. It is not Scarm, it is not Starmie, it is Metagross in the back. So triple rock resist for Endill. Interesting. But he doesn't like it, and he gets out of the way. He's going to go to Celebi here against the Starmie, which we've seen nothing from. The T-Wave actually basically more or less tells us what the entire set is. That's going to be the bold Starmie with T-Wave Surf. Then there is the Surf, Rapid Spin, and Recover. I'm a fan of that set. A lot of people don't like it, but I've liked that set for several months now. I think it's very reliable and sturdy and very good at its job, and it randomly supports, Metagross, Gyara, Mence, heavy hitters of whatever sort. So I'm a big fan of that set, but we'll see if it does work here. Certainly with a Celebi on the other side, it's not going to do too much unless Coco also has a Dugtrio or some reliable way to get rid of that Celebi. Otherwise, it's going to be walled forever and ever and ever by the Celebi. The T-Wave doesn't matter because of Natural Cure. Surf does nothing, as you can see. 12% is pathetic. And Celebi is going to BP out to Zapper here. Still hanging tight at that 29%, but the Gyara really looks like a threat from Coco's end. So even though Coco is behind 6-5 right now, I think if he understands the matchup, plays to his outs, tries to set up that Gyarados, I think there's a good chance that Coco can come back to win this game. So Endill finally shows an attacking move for the Celebi. He goes HP Grass, going to do 62%, and probably was going to follow up with another one there, but full para kicks in at a bad time. Starmie gets a recover off. I don't like the second recover. Why are we recovering when we're at 88%? Does not seem worth it to me. But Leech Seed comes down anyway. If I'm Coco, I definitely switch here, and he does. Here's Gyara, and comes in on exactly what it would want to come in on, a full para. Free opportunity here. And Hidden Power is the right read. Half the health of Celebi and another full para for Endill. Celebi not getting out of its wheelchair at a bad time. Out of the way it goes. Here's Swampert, and there is the Hidden Power for 27% on Swampert. Like I said, Gyara's a threat, but I wouldn't risk it here. I don't like staying in. Blow for blow. I mean, he couldn't have known that a crit was coming there, and there was a crit Ice Beam, which is definitely relevant and fortunate for Endill, but I don't know that Coco is necessarily respecting how much value his Gyara actually has in this matchup. I think if he plays this differently, he's got a legit shot to sweep Endill with the Gyara, if it is a DD Gyara, which, I mean, we've only seen Hidden Power flying, but I am confident that it is almost certainly a DD Gyara. That's basically the only Gyara, but it is Coco, who's very well known to be weird and unconventional, so I guess it doesn't have to be. Zapdos is now going to scare it off, and I mean, the Gyro is not necessarily screwed yet. It could get past a Wish from the Rachi, but here's a big change of plans. How about Marowak, previously unrevealed from Coco, and I mean, I can't blame Endill for not playing around that. Who would have seen a Marowak coming? Now, granted, with the Starmie and the Gyra, there's definitely going to be a ground type to to be immune to the Thunderbolts that they're both weak to. That part's fine, but almost always Marowak is first of all, lead Zap is almost universal on Marowak teams. And yeah, I mean, it's just raw Marowak. It doesn't look like this team can pass anything. Combine boosts, agility boosts, swords dance boosts, nothing. It's just Marowak being Marowak. What is this team for Coco? Last Pokemon champ coming in here. Like I said, this is a wild man, not afraid to get creative, and this is yet another weird team from Coco, but I mean, you can call it whatever you want. The man wins, and he's once again ahead of Endill here. Never in a million years would I would have thought that it's going to be Marowak and Machamp as the last two pokes. I'm glad I didn't try to guess at it because I would have had zero chance to be right. But it might get it done here. These are dangerous pokes in this late game, and those are definitely pokes that very much appreciate the T-Wave Starmie providing that para support, spreading that all around the enemy team. I don't know how well the Starmie fits, again, because of the Celebi issue, but all in all, I can see why it is appealing to have that on a team with Marowak and with Machamp. Very creative, as always, from Coco. Fire Punch and Earthquake, respectively. Last Fire Punch did 39%. Meta at 35. Not looking overly likely to survive this one. In fact, it might be zero chance to survive. I don't know the role here, but pretty dangerous. Celebi comes in on Fire Punch. Doesn't do much better, but he was going to live if not for that lucky burn that Coco just got. That's going to kill the Celebi. Celebi on the bad end of the luck all game long. A lot of bad pairs. Endy just got burnt. It's going to leave us after that kill in a 3-2, but Coco once again looking good. Here's Meta, there's DD. That's got to just be ball game, right? I mean, you click Earthquake twice and we call it a day. There's the first one. Meta out of here. He would have needed like Endure Salic or some unset to get out of that. And there is Hidden Power. That is it. Coco once again is going to defend his title. This guy, he's hard to play against. He's gimmicky. He sucks to schedule with. But for all the things you could say to criticize Coco, once you do get him in the game, he's really hard to play against. I have repeatedly seen this man beat very skilled players. Endill is an SPL this year, ADV starter. And Coco beats him pretty convincingly here. Gonna be a 3-0 yet again for our champ, and we get the pleasure of seeing him play and the misery of having to deal with him scheduling next week. The question is, who's it going to be against? We have that every single week. Did I do it in advance? Probably not. That would be too convenient. Oh, did I do it right? 55? Isn't that sweet? Just got to do a quick double count to make sure. 40. Yeah, I guess it is 55. Man, look at me hooking myself up for the future. Making life easier. Alright, you guys know the deal. I do the same thing every time. We start with some huge number just to get it going, and then we just do the drawing once, 1 through 55, whatever it is, no redos. Here's generate. Number 15 is going to be the opponent next week. That is Haika. Alrighty, we're going to take a Euro trip here. 2 Europeans, Haika and Hellpowna. If we can manage to lock down a time, they'll be playing in CALLOUS Fight Night next week. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the game. I'll see you there.